There's a bunch of blue jays yet again outside screaming at each other. I think we actually have a nest up in one of the trees, so that would explain why they've been so noisy lately. Anyway, this is just a quick channel update to let everybody know that I'm picking up Borderlands 3 tomorrow, and will be on. It goes on sale actually early, very briefly at my local GameStop at about 9 o'clock. So I'll get way ahead of the street time, which is awesome. So I'll be doing that tomorrow night. Again, like I said, hopefully around by 9:30 or no later than 10 Eastern. It's going to depend on how quickly I can get back and how large the lineups are. But the other thing is, too, I want to have a quick discussion on the endgame meta for Final Fantasy XIV, particularly when it comes to tanks, but pretty much any of the melee class, not just any of the non-casters really, or So just so you guys probably know, I main Dragoon. But I do dabble in tanking here and there. I particularly enjoy Paladin. I've just finished getting Warrior to 80 the other week. Have not yet gotten Dark Knight and Gunbreaker up there yet. But anyway, the main thing I want to focus on is with relation to the secondary stats, and particularly skill speed. So as you can see, while I put crit where I could, or rather where I couldn't put skill speed, everywhere else in my gear, I pretty much melded for skill speed as much as possible. Now, unfortunately, right now I can't get it as high as I would like. I saw some pretty amazing performance out of it while at 70 and also on the way up to 80. Because they always adjust how the scaling works every expansion. I've lost a lot of the effectiveness of skill speed, even fully gearing for it. So I believe my delay is around, it's pretty high right now. Yeah, even with all the, and yes, I know I'm not using tier 8 materia in any of my stuff. That's on purpose because I'm waiting for to be able to upgrade my tome gear and whatnot. Because as you may or may not know, you can retrieve tier 6 materia at 100% success rate currently. So, whereas tier 8, basically I just don't want to slam tier 8 materia into gear I'm going to replace soon after anyway, and have that chance to lose it. Even though right now, yes, you can spam, well, as you can see in my chat log, the hunt trains are going on, and you can just spam those to get a seemingly endless stack of clusters. And anyway, yeah, I've already got like 200 and some of this. Okay, not quite 200 on the tier 8s, but on the tier 7s, yeah. But those. Anywho, yeah. So, this was the point about skill speed. Skill speed, I feel like, is really underappreciated right now in 14. Since they removed the TP requirements on weapon skills and Shadowbringers, it basically took out the singular largest drawback of increasing skill speed. As I'm sure most monks will remember way back in the Realm Reborn days, where you just hemorrhage TP in no time during fights. And even on my main Dragoon, particularly during like AO, whenever we would have to spam AoE during dungeons and whatnot, like our standard AoE combo, although I think it's changed since then. We got Curth and Torment as a new skill, but they also removed some of our older ones. But yeah, even in just Doomspike and Sonic Thrust, just using these two skills back in Stormblood, like the two of them together ate up nearly 300 TP just on their own. So, which would of course force you to stop before long, even with a bard in the group, so, singing to refresh TP. So now that that's out of the way, quick little caveat: skill speed is still utterly garbage on Dragoon, and Dragoon is probably the one and only DPS class that just doesn't want to touch it. Period. Because it does absolutely nothing to help with our with accumulating resources. since our big job thing, you know, using Nestrand and our jumps, like Dragoon relies so heavily on global cooldown abilities that skill speed is pretty much irrelevant. You just want crit. But for jobs like especially warrior, I found, like, holy hell, having a high skill speed rating when inner release is up is huge. You get, I mean, if it lets you sneak in even just one more fell cleave, that's, you know, that's a guaranteed direct hit and critical hit. That's pretty good. But I found while leveling, all the skill speed I added would sometimes let me sneak in even 2 extra hits. Not so much anymore because, like I said, now that I'm 80, oh yeah, see, it's even worse on my horse. I got 2.39, so even slower than on Paladin. But, and there's a big but here, we're still just at the beginning of the expansion. By the time, I would, even Yoshida himself was saying by around 5.3-ish, like, jobs like Monk are gonna have serious issues with clipping because of things like, like stacking all the skill speed and grease lightning. But I do honestly believe at this point that even if it's not the case right this moment, by the time we get near the end of the expansion, skill speed is going to be the dominant stat, at least for certain jobs. For some, if not all of the tanks, and pretty much, and Monk, 3 out of the 4 melee DPS. So Ninja, Monk, and Samurai. And actually, a friend of mine who does play a main Samurai now. He used to play Warrior, but now he mains Samurai. He was telling me just a while ago that he's already managed, like, he actually had to dial back some of the skill speed he had on his gear because he's already managed to hit like an even flat 2.0 global cooldown, which is crazy. There's another thing to remember about skill speed as well too, and this is why, and actually I think it's going to be especially true on Ninja after when the rework is coming in the next patch. Sorry, I keep going to the wrong menu. Skill speed does not just affect how fast you use your weapon skills. It does boost your damage over time ability slightly, and it increases the potency of your auto attacks, which is why I feel like it's really, really good. It's even better on Monk and Samurai and Ninja, because they all have abilities that increase the rate of their auto attacks. For Samurai, that's Shifu. For Monk, it's Grease Lightning, and then for Ninja, it's Hyotan, I believe. Actually, just gonna double check that real quick. Sometimes I have trouble keeping track of the Ninja stuff. No, it's Hutan, sorry. That's right, Hyotan says. Actually, just gonna double and triple check the descriptions there. Yeah, recast weapon skill and auto attack. And I don't need to. I'm ignoring the hunt stuff right now because I'm already maxed out this week from yesterday. Which again I did specifically because Borderlands is coming. I want it to be. I don't want to leave anything left undone while I'm going to be streaming that nonstop. Just double check real quick. Shifu, there we go. Yep, weapon skill, recast, spellcast, and now yeah, Samurai gets a smaller amount. They only get 10, and I believe later on, once they have the mastery, yeah, it goes up to only 13. They might actually buff, but still, so it's like 2 points less than Ninja and Monk, but even still, it's still a lot. So they benefit more from skill speed than Dragoon. The other thing I want to bring, yeah, so I really do think, like, by the time we get, like, you know, seeing like I-500 and whatnot towards the end of the expansion, skill speed is just gonna, like, absolutely take off as, like, the dominant go-to thing. I don't think it will overtake crit 100%. You're still gonna want both, and but I think you're gonna want to mix in more, probably a little less crit now. and make sure you have enough. Again, assuming you're not playing Dragoon, you have enough. You have enough speed just to really cheat in more hits, and to improve your overall DPS. Because that's the nice thing about boosting your auto attacks too. Like, it increases, like, sorry, as opposed to like dumping everything into crit and kind of just increasing your your spike or burst damage. Having having more consistent, harder hitting auto attacks and damage over time does increase your overall DPS, which is nice. Yeah. Okay. So the only other stat I really want to talk about last real quick is I feel like direct hit. Honestly, I feel like it's really, really overvalued. Like, I still use it on my Dragoon. But I'm starting to, I've been starting to wonder if maybe bumping up my determination would be a better idea over direct hit. Now, direct hit is pretty nice, and I have a very good reason for this. Direct hit is nice, and having more of it helps it go off more often, but it has diminishing returns. It's the exact problem that critical hit rate used to have way back before they merged crit rate and crit damage. So the more direct hit rate you stack, yes, the more often it'll go off. And it's by no means a bad thing, and it's probably still like worth stacking up to a degree on tanks, because tanks have very, very small amounts of it naturally. Like, my paladin's only got like 300. Okay, 420, and I think I only have it melded on a single piece because I had nothing else to stuff in there. But yeah, so my issue with direct hit is that it doesn't actually increase the maximum damage you can do. It gives you the potential to spike a little harder, but it doesn't actually increase your overall damage. Like, determination point for point will increase the power of all your attacks. Alright, regardless of whether you get like a trigger or not. Okay, at least with, like I said, at least with critical hit, it's not just affecting the critical hit rate, but your critical hit damage. It's also why I don't particularly advocate stacking direct hit on. Like, it's nice on certain tanks. I'm just gonna flat out say it. I think you're an idiot if you put it on warrior because of in a release. Like, you already have and also infuriate actually now with nascent chaos, and like you already have a bunch of you already have 2 different abilities that can guarantee you a bunch of direct critical hits. So stacking more direct hit just so you can get a little bit more in between those cooldowns is not nearly as beneficial, in my opinion, as just stacking more crit to make them hit harder, and then maybe either more determination or skill speed, so you can get in more hits. Unfortunately, tenacity is still basically a garbage stat. I'm surprised they didn't adjust it. I was really hoping for an overhaul to it, much like they did with piety. Like, piety is also really, really good on healers. Just at least in my own personal experience, my white mage is 76, I believe. Yeah, almost 77. And I've melded for piety pretty much everywhere I can, and I'm absolutely loving it. I basically never run out of mana during dungeons. Like, I have to really, really be spamming like an idiot and just not using my cooldowns at all to run out of mana. It's crazy. Like, piety is so strong right now for healers. And I know some people the other thing too is, you don't, like, the burst healing, especially on white mage, is overkill as it is. Like, there's very few situations where you absolutely need to be healing for as much as possible, like on every single spell. I mean, even in group activities, because like you'll often have another heal, like, especially like with raids and whatnot, you'll have another healer with you anyway, so it quickly becomes overkill. feel like it's much more important to have high piety, and like you still want the crit and whatnot, obviously, particularly for like your offensive skills like misery and whatnot. And of course, Scholar has a bunch of stuff that triggers off of crits. But I feel like making sure you don't run out of mana in the first place is so much more important. And keep in mind too, like if you know, if shit hits the fan and you know and people start dying, you know, and raises have to be used, or you know, or you yourself go down, and then you know, if you're one of the healers, and now suddenly, you know, well, as you well know, recovering from weakness wipes your MP out. Having that higher piety is really nice for that, to quickly get your MP back. So yeah, I feel like it just adds such a ridiculous amount of sustain to healers in fights that it really should be the priority stat. Like crit, even over crit for healers. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like I said, I'll be streaming Borderlands 3 this Thursday night. You know, at some point, hopefully before, but no later, I'm sure, than 10 PM Eastern. I've decided to run with Zane, the operative, I think is what he is. Yeah, it's a tough call between him and Mose, but I feel like his kit offers like a good balance of damage and team utility. Hopefully some of my buddies will be there to join me as well, but it might just end up running solo, and that's okay. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the 14's endgame, where it's going and whatnot. Oh yeah, just minor note too, I did actually cancel my subscription again for 14 because I'm kind of getting bored of it. That doesn't mean the game's bad in any way. It's actually arguably in the best state it's been in ages. Shadowbringers is by far the best expansion to date. There's still plenty of stuff to do, I'm sure, for most people. And 5.1 is going to be bringing a lot of stuff I'm interested in, particularly the restoration of Ishgard activity. It's just that, I got a couple of money issues right now, and also with Borderlands 3 coming up, I'm going to be devoting all my time to that anyway. So I may resub and come back to 14 if you guys want to see more of that, you know, or if just the stuff is really interesting. But for now, I feel like I've gotten my fill of it. I subscribed for 6 months a while back, you know, to help prepare for Shadowbringers, and also have enough time to play around with it, and I feel like I've gotten my money's worth. So yeah, it's just time for me to take a break from it. Not to mention as well, if I can get my PC situation sorted out, my PC isn't running. I just have some technical problems with regards to my OS and whatnot. I really would like to stream some Magic the Gathering Arena, because we've been having a blast with that lately, and the new expansion Throne of Eldraine is coming in a couple of weeks, and oh my, if you guys haven't seen any of this, like, and you're fans of Magic the Gathering, or at least just card games in general, like maybe you play Hearthstone or whatever, go check out Throne of Eldraine. First of all, the trailer is absolutely it's just sick. It is so good, and the whole set is like a Grimm Fairy Tales theme. It looks amazing. There's some pretty insane cards in there too, but more than that, it's the flavor of the set is just so over the top. Like the artwork, the flavor text, everything about this set is just. It's just so amazing. Like words do it no justice. Just go take a look for yourself for the spoilers. Like, you won't regret it. All right. So, you know, if you guys don't hear from me again between now, you know, in the next between today and tomorrow, I will see you tomorrow night for sure. All right. Peace out. Have a good one.